thanks for meeting with me so we could talk about your experience this weekend and a few other things. So, what would you say was your biggest fitness or health challenge you had before joining the gym and working with me?
Getting out of bed and just showing up. I, because of health issues, I hurt all the time, all the time. And I believed my goals were unrealistic.
So, what did you struggle with the most then when it came to like getting started?
Um, Getting started literally was just showing up. And how do I explain? Making the time
Mm-hmm.
and working through the pain that my body was in, my joints.
Gotcha. That must have been tough. So, what made you to finally decide to go all in, compete, and just trust the process?
Because I am very goal oriented. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, why not go all the way with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember halfway through, I wanted to quit. And you looked at me and said, no, no, you're not going to quit. I know this is hard, but you're not going to quit.
Yeah.
So, one of the biggest challenges for me was the food.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for me to comprehend all the nutrition because of the amounts of food I had to eat.
Mm-hmm. And you weren't used to that.
I wasn't used to that. And going back at it, that was my biggest regret, I think, of this whole journey, was not totally eating all the food that you wanted me to and making the time to eat all the food you wanted me to. Because I sat there and I was full constantly. I don't ever remember being hungry till I was shredding for competition.
Cool. So, how has your body changed since we started working together? You can start with just like your physique.
Well, obviously my physique, and I'll never forget at the beginning of the journey, I was like, what about where I had kids, you know, that little place where you have that baby bump from those kids, you know, and you're like, yeah, you can lose that. I'm like, no, you can't, not without surgery. There's no way you can. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you can. That was when I saw that going away, I've never been so overjoyed in my life. I've always been self-conscious of that little pooch.
So, how do you feel it's affected your strength in the gym and outside of the gym?
Oh, considerably. Considerably. Um, I'll sit and move stuff or lift things, and people just stare at me and go, she's moving that? Are you kidding me?
This little girl?
Yeah. When I'm walking from one of the back buildings to the histo lab at work with a big 50-pound box of liquid formalin, everybody just sits there. Do you need help? No, I got this. It's all good.
So, how has your health changed?
Oh, how has it not changed? I went from, I'm sorry, I might cry on this one. I went from struggling getting out of bed, going through my day, to being able to pop out of bed. And when you're in chronic pain all the time, and then all of a sudden it's gone, it was like you were never in chronic pain. It changed my whole life. I have energy. I sleep better. My mood is a lot better. My hormones have even changed. My estrogen, my testosterone, all of that went up naturally. Um, when I went to the doctor and she asked me, are you taking something for your cholesterol? When I didn't even have bad cholesterol before. It was like, what? No, I'm not taking anything. I'm just doing my supplements and my nutrition and my diet. And I can't even begin to tell you what a difference. And you don't have that midday crash. Yeah. And even when I get home from being up at 3 a.m. in the morning and working that 8-hour shift, then coming here and working out for the length of time that we do, and then going home, I still have energy and I'm able to get stuff done instead of just going, oh man, I just want to be left alone, DoorDash it is type thing. But no, I'm up. I feel good.
And what about your confidence?
Oh, major change. And I actually went from regular extra large t-shirts to small shirts that actually fit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been so excited in my life to wear crop tops. Who would have thought at my age, crop tops, and, be able to show it off.
For sure. So what surprised you most about this journey?
How friendly and how uplifting everybody is. You expect a huge group of women that have done nothing but work on beauty, composure, posing, and they're looking in the mirror all the time, and their bodies are just wow. And you're thinking, oh, these girls are going to be snooty. Nobody's going to talk to me at these shows. No, they actually embrace you and they help each other. And from the competition, if I may, one of the things that stuck out to me the most was there was a girl right before she went on stage in the bikini division, her shoe broke. I've never seen a bunch of girls flock together that didn't even know this girl. What size do you wear? And bringing them to her. And while she was on stage, everybody trying to fix her shoe, from the pro tan people to the competitors, everybody. So that was really nice. And the judges, Sheila Brown, I can't speak out the most about her. Even after the show, she took time to contact me, and here she is, a judge and an NPC pro. And she was like, what can I do to help? Can we do this through video call? Hey, Paige, I'm doing a clinic close to you. Can you make it? Can you drive to Dallas? And then at the show, she walks backstage. Hey, Paige, how are you doing? Are you having a good time? I know this is the hardest part. And it's like, wow. Yeah. And Mr. Olympia walking up, hey, want a picture? Giving you a hug. That was cool.
So then do you think, even if you hadn't won the 2 medals that you won in the new NPC Fit Model division, do you think it still would have been worth it just to experience all of that?
Oh, hands down. It was exhausting. I was tired, but hands down. And you're so nervous and so amped up because it's your first thing. You don't know what to expect, and you don't know what you're going to run into. And everybody made it so much easier. To the point when you got on stage, it was like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing this. It was wonderful.
So what would you say to someone who feels like they're too far gone, or in too much pain to get started? Not necessarily to compete, but just to start working out and eating better.
I would say if I can do it, anybody can do it. I have a chronic illness. It affects my joints. I don't have that pain anymore. My blood work shows that it's almost non-existent anymore. I'm asthmatic and I was a smoker. And you can't get any worse than that. And I was overweight, out of shape. I sat on my couch for, 3 or 4 years and didn't even do any kind of exercise. And now I'm up, I'm moving, I'm running, and I was told, and this is the thing that made me mad the most, and I guess got me even more determined, was you don't need to be doing this at your age. Do you have any idea what you're doing to your body? You're hurting your body. Blood work doesn't lie. And the other thing I got asked the most, are you going to do steroids? No, I'm not. Why would I destroy everything that I set out to do to begin with before I started competing just to go 50 steps back? Why would you do that? I haven't felt this good since I was in my early 20s. I really haven't. I literally feel like I'm in my 20s again. I never thought this possible. And I'm telling you, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But if you just want to do it for health and wellness, just show up. listen. Just absolutely listen. And you're going to have 3 steps back and 2 steps forward. And you've just got to stick through it. And even on the days you don't feel like being here. And it's amazing, even on those days when you're having that rough day, excuse me, that rough day, how much it changes. And your day just automatically gets better. You feel better. The next morning you get up and feel better. And then you don't realize from the shredding and eating clean and all that for as long as I have. And then after the show, eating that food, the strawberry shortcake. Oh man, you don't realize how bad it makes you feel. Yeah. And that greasy food, and you just don't realize it.
Yeah, you're so used to it.
You're so used to it. And I learned I had an eating disorder, not knowing I had an eating disorder. It was ingrained in us, watch your carbs, watch your fat, watch this, watch that. Well, you do have to, but not really.
Yeah, not the way we were taught.
No, not even close to the way we were taught. And when you were teaching me this whole program to begin with, I was so confused. Like, there's no way this could work, but what do I have to lose, And then you said about my hormones with the fat. I wasn't getting enough fat. It was going to affect my hormones. Well, you know what? It did, because I wasn't getting enough fat. And once I upped the fat, like you had told me, boom, they started regulating again. And it's not instantaneous, but it almost is. You don't even realize what's happened till it's happened. Yeah. It was like one week I was like, I haven't been hurting in forever. I haven't had to drag myself out of bed. I haven't had to grab that heating pad. I don't have to turn on the heated seats every time I get in the car. And you're sore when you first start, but the journey is so worth it. You feel so much better. And you look in the mirror and you're not picking yourself apart anymore. That is women. That is one of the hardest things we have to deal with. And you asked me about competition. I guess the thing I was the most uncomfortable with that turned out to be the most fun, and it sounds so weird, was being in that room with all those women, and we're butt naked. All of us are naked, herding in and out like cattle in front of these fans, and we're all just talking, and I made a really good friend in there. The next day at the hotel I ran into her, I was like, I didn't recognize you with your clothes on. I mean, just the people were just down to earth. Wonderful. Yeah. And I wouldn't have traded this journey for anything. And even if I hadn't have competed, I would have never regretted any of this. I look forward to this every day. To the point, let's see, I've showed up broken foot, dislocated shoulder, pneumonia, all kinds of stuff. And it was because I knew it would make me feel better. And that's another thing. If you have an injury, come on in, especially if you have a trainer, because Casey, I still think it would have taken me a lot longer to get over that dislocated shoulder if I hadn't been here. Right. And I want you to give yourself enough credit too. We did it, and I couldn't have done it without you. And you did the research. You did a lot of work. And when I came in with these injuries, you made phone calls. You tried to find out how to work with me with these injuries so it wouldn't further hurt me and I could get over them quicker. And Lord knows I trip on the air. I'm a klutz.
I'll just wrap you in bubble wrap to keep my sanity. All right, well, is there anything else you want to add?
If you're second guessing it, or it's a financial issue, or if it's a time issue, I can promise you that saving you money with all the medicines you're going to have to take, all the ibuprofen you're taking, or whatever you're taking, I don't have to go see the doctor as much anymore. And my husband can't keep up with me anymore. It's so worth it. And believe it or not, you save more money in the long run.
For sure.
I mean, you just do. I can't even begin to tell you how many hundreds of dollars this has saved me due to medical expenses.
Wow.
So I'd be on the, due to my iron situation, I'd have been on chemo right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have been on chemo. I have family members that are really suffering and are on dialysis because of this illness. And look at me. And I never ever thought I would be in this great a shape and this less pain. I don't have arthritis. I don't have inflammation. I don't have any of that stuff anymore. And it's worth it. So worth it.